The title of my presentation today is Action, Commitment, and Patience, which is three of our goals, or at least motivations of our companies. Our creed is we have a mission to build global, profitable, and sustainable businesses. We commit to our companies over their full lifetime from launch to exit. And we work in a number of areas from alternative energy, clean technology, cloud computing, and genomics. And we are dedicated to aligning both profit and sustainability. Our founders, and with no false modesty, I speak of my father, who lived as a legend in the semiconductor equipment industry, where he was for 24 years at Applied Materials, where he ran the company's products. He's a member of the Silicon Valley Engineering Hall of Fame, as well as former president of Novelis, competitor of Applied Materials. My background is primarily in software as well as synthetic biology, founder of two venture-backed companies in both alternative energy and cloud computing. We're a father-son team where we're technologists and entrepreneurs. We invest our personal money, our time, and our experience. Our business model is really threefold. We discover companies that we usually say if it's on a napkin, it's too late stage for us. We build, we put the first seed money into the company, use our operational experience in building and designing the business model, and we take roles as either CEO or executive chairman, and we remain with the company to mentor and foster throughout its lifetime. So we blend both of our experience as well as our personal money. So I'll talk about two of our companies very quickly. Cativa is the first one. It's a company based in the Silicon Valley making equipment for OLED televisions, the next generation of displays. And Designer Energy, a company based in Israel doing cellulose hydrolysis for biofuels and biochemicals. Both of these were co-founded and led by Musea Ventures. So I'll start with Cativa. This is a company spun out of MIT, where the original technology was developed. Founded in 2009, has so far raised, I think, over $70 million now. And the company is a small Silicon Valley startup, is collaborating with some of the largest display makers in the world. My father and partner, Musea Somekh, is executive chairman. So to give you a little background, I'm sure many of you are familiar with OLED. It's a brighter, more saturated color, wider viewing angle. It's thinner, remarkably thin, sometimes 33 millimeters. You can hang it on the wall like a painting. And it's great for things like LCD TV. The most interesting thing, though, is about 1/3 the energy consumption of even the most efficient LED LCD. In the US, 1 to 2% of all energy goes to run the television, so this can have a great contribution. The opportunity is pretty massive. The market is expected to, OLED is expected to capture about 50% of the market by 2018-19. LG recently announced a few months ago at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas a 55-inch TV that was, I think, 4 millimeters thick and won Best in Show, but it retails for about $10K. Unfortunately, the manufacturing process is so expensive that we estimate that it cost them more than $10,000 to make this television. So Cativa's solution is to use inkjet printing to deposit the chemicals for the OLED. And our estimate is that using Cativa's solution, we can produce a television about half the cost of today's LED LCD. Designer Energy is another company spun out of the Weizmann Institute at Tel Aviv University in Israel. It was founded in 2008, and we say we're just a sugar company. We are working on degrading cellulose, lignocellulose, into fermentable sugars. And I am the acting CEO since the founding of the company. The problem, of course, in industrial biology, we're all familiar with the food versus fuel problem. The problem when it comes to cellulosic sugars is that while we target the enzyme cost for each gallon to be about 30 cents per gallon, the actual estimated cost is about $1.50. So we need to reduce the cost by at least 5x. Designer Energy's expertise is in a particular organism by the name of Clostridium vermicellum. When you compare it to Trichoderma reesi, which is an organism that folks like DSM, Genencor, and Novozymes, the leaders in the field, are using, our organism is about 5 to 6x more efficient. And we have over 25 years experience working with this particular organism. We are already collaborating with Petrobras, one of the world's largest oil companies. This is the Brazilian national oil company. They came to us because of our academic heritage, and we have a multi-year, multi-million-dollar collaboration with them to develop new technologies for hydrolyzing the gas, the waste product of sugarcane refining, into fermentable sugars. We are also collaborating now on cellulosic butanol with an American company by the name of Elkerton. There's a very interesting grant program between Israel and the United States called the Binational Industrial R&D Foundation, which will contribute at least up to $1 million or 50% of a project. And our goal here is to develop low-cost cellulosic butanol as a next-generation fuel and chemical. The interesting thing about N-butanol is that it has a huge market as an industrial chemical, estimated to be about $30 billion for it as a chemical, for N-butanol, which is often used in paints and coatings and so forth, but also for its derivatives. So it's a massive opportunity as a chemical. More importantly, though, N-butanol is a fantastic drop-in fuel, where its properties are much better than ethanol and much closer to that of gasoline. So this is something that Designer Energy is very excited about. So in summary, Musea Ventures has sort of three focuses. Action, where we identify, launch, and work with great entrepreneurs and technologies. We stick with the companies over their entire lifetime. And this is particularly important when it comes to Cleantech. We have the deterrence to make sure that the company succeeds with long-term goals and aligning profit and sustainability. Thank you very much.